Okay. All right. Let's put that there. Copy link. Right. Right, that's ready. Paste. Okay. I think we're ready now. So let me share the screen and let's see what's happening today. I had one alert go off a minute ago, and I'm going to start with GBP USD. I'll start with USD CAD because I've had an alert go off. USD CAD. I've got the builder here today as well, so he's working on the new kitchen just the other side of this door, so I'm speaking a bit more softly, and I think he's just finished he's cementing in a new sink, so I think we're okay on noise level. Right.
Hi, Sarah.
Hello, Bob.
Hi. Sorry, couldn't get in. Sorry, I missed the first bit of what you were saying.
Oh, just that I've got the builder here, so I think he's finished being noisy. I think he's cementing in, so he's building a new kitchen the other side of this door.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so
we could have some interesting background.
Possibly.
Noises.
I thought I'd give it a go anyway. And I've had a little bit of a problem with TradingView. I seem to have lost my bar, but anyway, I think I'm still all right. I had all my alerts set up and everything. So I've sent them a support ticket, and I can see they've sent me a response. Help Centre. See what they say. Just wait a minute.
Yep.
Oh, can't see where their response is, so I'll have to do that. I'll do that later. Should be all right.
Yep.
My support tickets. Oh, here we are. Oh, it just says it's in progress. Okay, so USD CAD on the 15-minute. I'll turn on BYOB in a minute. It's on a downward trend. I had the alert set here to see if it was coming through this pitchfork of mine. So now I go to the 1 minute. I will put on BYOB, but it's just quicker for me to look at my usual strategy. You can see it's still descending. You've got, this does look like a sell at the moment because I was waiting for it to go through that trend line, but maybe we should wait for it to break and retest. So that's on the 1 minute, and it looks like it might go down to quarter theory. I just need to take off that extend right line. Let's draw that down to there and put it back in green. So it's still under the 62 EMA. It's crossed the pitchfork. So we've got a pitchfork touch. I haven't got a third confirmation for entry. Normally I'd be looking for it to do this now, which is that. So a break and a retest of that pitchfork. And let me just take that off there. And see if I can move that up. There you are, like that. So that's what I'm looking for it to do. So let me just, I was trying to get rid of that. There we are, a little mark there. So it's just coming up and it's coming up. So let's put the stochastic on. I'm on the 15-minute. And that's saying it's bottomed out. So that looks like it's going back up for a retest. And let's put the SARS on. So that SARS is still saying downward. Oh no, it has got a little flip there. And let's put those other Icanashi candles on. So on the 15-minute, we've had a flip, which is what I'd expect, which is a retest. I wouldn't be entering this until it had broken and retested that pitchfork and down to quarter theory. So check on longer term timescales. So that is 20 pips down to the next to quarter theory, and the next pitchfork would take us down. So I'll put a short position on about there, and down to 20 takes us below that quarter theory. But as I say, it could go down further if it does that. If it does that break and retest. Profit level, stop level. So let's see what happens on that. So I'll just move that alert. I don't want it to keep going off. Let's move it to about there, because normally I'd get in if it's broken and retested by 10 pips. But you don't want it too far off the pitchfork, because that's where the Elliott wave starts. But on the other hand, you want 10 pips for it to solidify. Otherwise, the Elliott wave hasn't started, you know, it's resetting. So sometimes I've found that's what happens with me. I'm still in the first leg, not the second leg. You want that third leg where it's really going to ping off. So let's see what BYOB is telling us on the hourly, and that's still saying it's it's bottoming out for a buy on the hourly. So it's not saying sell it, but I've got a downward scan, and I was looking for a sell, but maybe it's going to come right up to that. Maybe it's going to come off this pitchfork and back up to these outer extensions. So on the 4 hourly, you can see it's back off an old scan at the moment. So it could be swinging back up, right back up, although that is still saying it's bouncing along the bottom on the 4 hourly. On the hourly, it's along the bottom saying it's going back up for a bigger buy. So that could be coming back up to this quarter theory point. So I'm going to mark that as 1.31500. It could be coming back up to there. So I'm going to clone that, because depending on when I'm next, I'll be on with Les tonight at 7 PM UK time. I like to follow how the trades have gone between my time and his. So I'm just going to put that and put an alert on there. And let's just go back to the 15-minute, and then we'll move on to another pair. 15-minute there. 15-minute is still below the 20. Just bear with me a minute. I forgot to close down Facebook now. I forgot to put it in the Ninja Hub. Where are we? I think I've still got the Zoom on my sorry, it's a bit slow because I've got so many pairs open. Ninja Hub. me just put that there, paste. London, New York, cross over with Harmonic Scanner, BYOB. Right, let's just put that in there. Back to USD CAD. On the 15-minute, looking at BYOB with the high Kanashi candles and the SARS, you can see it still says it's bottoming along the under 20. So it's chuntering along. So we're waiting for a SAR flip for a, I'm not in anything, I've just put that there as an idea. So it's at the moment, it's just looking at my pitchfork and deciding what to do. It's still bottoming out. I'm thinking that rather than it just continue down, because of what we can see on the stochastic, it probably wants to reverse and go up. But I've set 2 alerts, one to see if it's going to go back up to this extension, and one to see if it's going to break and retest this pitchfork here before dropping down to quarter theory at 1.3100, and then if it does that, it'll probably want to go down to this next level at about 1.30830. So it's kind of in the middle on all time frames for BYOB. So that's USD CAD, USD JPY, 15-minute. This is on normal candles at the moment. Just let me get my bearings on my strategy, and then I'll put on the BYOB. You can see I've got a D point off the latest scan from the 12th of December. But because we had the, I think this must have been, yes, the elections, wasn't it? It shot up, then it's come right back up into the extensions. That's the drop down from after the British UK election, which was last Thursday. Had a very positive impact on the GBP. It went up 400 pips, and I did 227 pips plus another 20, so I did 250 pips on that on Thursday night. So it's come back up to the outer extension on the 15-minute. It's in the kind of, you see I had the alert set, it moved on the hour, I think. Yeah, it moved on the hour. So I've just missed my setup on that because I had it marked for a break and a retest to go on up, or a rejection off, a break and a retest to come down. So it's a bit late for me to enter because I like a 10 pip stop loss. You can see that is moving down. So if and it's coming below the 62 quite fast. Let's put on our sarcastic. We need to see the 100. Oh, I've got the drawing mode on.
Oh, it's flipped.
Let's get rid of that. Right, so I'm on the 15-minute. I'm just about to look at BYOB. I just want to get this frame down a bit more down there. I can see the 100. My band is quite narrow on there. Oh, okay, let's do that. That's it. Right, so we've got it coming down. They're not very wide apart. They're going to come down to below the 20 on the 15-minute. Let's put our candles on the high Kanashi and also the star flip. So on the 15-minute, these are my markups. I'll take these off now so you don't have to look at what I just do little break and retest marks for a buy or a sell, and I put an alert on. So USD JPY. Now I was in this earlier, but then I decided, because it was stalling out all along there, I got out at +2 pips because it was pushing up on the MTFA. Didn't like the look of it, so sure enough, it's come up and done a break and a retest. Did the retrace. That's 1.4 pips, so I do consider that a break and a retest in a 6.6 trillion market. So it is coming down. It's got flat bottom candles, but you're kind of halfway in between. Let's have a look on the hourly. See if it's still going to come down. Yes, it's coming down, but it's not over the 80. So I don't know how many pips you would get on that using BYOB. They've got a flat bottom candle, but we've still got the SAR flip up. Still got the SAR flip up, so maybe it wants to do another retrace. And on the 4 hourly, it's above 80, but it's doing a little bounce. It's just doing a little bounce back up using BYOB. That's just very wicky. Let me just I'll take off my alert. Very wicky candles on the 4 hourly, and still pushing back up on the SARS. Let me just make some notes. So I don't like the look of it on the 4 hourly. It still says it wants to come up again before doing whatever it wants to do, although it is over 80 there, but it didn't do a lot of a swing down, and it's kissing together. It's not wide apart. You've not got a lot of volume. You've got very wicky candles. You've got the SARS still going up. Back to the hourly, we've got the SARS and my 62 EMA, which is the 1 minute average of price over 62 days. So price will always come back to that. You should think of the 62 EMA as a rolling line of support and resistance, and that's why price always comes back to it. So you haven't got it quite above 80 here on the hourly. We have got a flat bottom candle, but we've got the SARS still pushing up. So it's kind of not got the volume in it at the moment. So let's look at the 15. Let's look at the 30-minute. I don't often go on the 30-minute, I must say, very rarely. But we've got a flat bottom candle. We've got it in the middle. We have had a SAR flip. But I mean, I don't like the look of that for a trade, because how many pips are you going to get out of that? If I go back to my strategy, then I'd measure that. As I say, I never look at the 30-minute. I never take trades off the 30-minute. But if I took that from the 62 EMA, where the average of prices, you've got 7 pips down to my pitchfork. So it's probably chuntering along the middle at the moment. And just back to the 15-minute before we move on to another pair. We've got 3 flat bottom candles. We've got the SARS going down, but we've got it in the middle of the stochastic. Although we have got a gap between the blue and the red. Just let me go back to the 1 minute. I want to see if it's coming down below the 62 EMA on the 1 minute. But again, if you look at where my next pitchfork line is, 7 pips. So pitchfork is a stronger, more accurate, and I've got a crossing purple pitchfork here, which I do take note of. If I just bring that back up for you to see, I don't want to confuse you by putting too many on, but price may well struggle here to break down, and this white one is the pitchfork I'm currently in. So it's got all this area here before it thinks about dropping quite a bit further. Now that's only on the 15-minute, but I'd be paying very close attention to see if it's going to bounce off any of those and head on up. And if you look at the number of pips between that, you've got 15 pips between that, but it's still got the 2 pitchforks to get through there. So it has come through the extensions. It's coming back into this scan. It has come below quarter theory. But there's not a lot of volume in the trade at the moment. So not a good entry for the BYOB at the moment, and I can't see it across the longer time frame. So nothing for me on that one, or for us, I don't think. Let's have a look. Let me start at the beginning. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Got about 12 or 13 pairs that I've been through today, which I use off my main list, which in normal times are slightly faster pairs, faster than out of 10. You could have 1 to 10 on speed, on currency pair movements, and I've picked ones which are kind of 5 and above to look at for today. I'll just take off some of this old stuff while I'm here. So I'm on the 15-minute, I'm on my strategy at the moment. I was looking on GBP USD for it to break above quarter theory and break above the pitchfork, which is why I put the alert on above here. But as you can see, it struggled. It did try and break above the quarter theory, but it struggled to get over this pitchfork. It doesn't like that as well. And green is my downward candle, so it's pushing down below the 62 EMA. So that's forcing the GBP down against the USD, which I wouldn't think is too surprising given the 400 pip move upward on the 12th of December last Thursday. So obviously the banker strategy, the sniper strategy, you have to balance that out. But you have got quarter theory here where it's wicking through, and generally I'm still on this green upward, scan. I'm sorry about the building in the background. I thought I'd give it a go. He's finished knocking the wall out. He's putting a new sink in. So at the moment, I'm going to go down. Let me just go down to my 1 minute to get my own bearings, see what's happening on the harmonic scanner. Now, I quite like the look of that because the 62 has now crossed the 15-minute, and it's, oops, there's drilling going on. So if it carries on, I may not be able to continue this. Oh, I know, he's building the sink cabinet. Right, so we've had this, that's a very good sign, plus it's under the pitchfork, and now it's retesting quarter theory. Although it's not got a big break, so I think now we'll just look at this, now we'll put the BYOB on. Down to there, so we've got sort of 30 pips there, so let's have a look at our BYOB. Stochastic on, oh, I'm only on the 1 minute, so I'll correct that in a minute. I'm on the Heikin-Ashi, and just put the SAR flip on. Let's go back to the 15-minute. Right, 15-minute. We've had a SAR flip, we've got a flat bottom candle, and we've got it over the 80. I quite like the look of that for a sell. It came under the quarter, it was under the quarter theory on the 1 minute, I think, which is where I normally enter. Oh yes, it's just come under the quarter theory. So it's retesting the quarter theory at the moment. What time are we? So we've just finished the half hour. Let's have a look at the half hour candle. Half hour candle shows a flat bottom downward candle. I think that's quite a bit of volume. It's not tiny weeny like some of these. So I'm quite liking the look of this for a sell. What's it saying on the hourly? Very wicky on the hourly. The 62's come up and it's gone above quarter theory on the hourly. Oh, so not looking good for that many pips the longer. And the 4 hourly, it's coming up to the top over the 80 again. That's Euro Ord. We'll look at that in a minute. We'll look at that next. Sorry, I've got my... Right, so let's just go back to that 15-minute. Quite liking, although it's now dropped quite fast, and it's actually, although we've got the SAR flip and the flat bottom, for me we've still got it on the 15-minute struggling at quarter theory. So I'm not sure that although it has come under the 62 and the pitchfork. So I'm not sure, looking at the longer time frames, that it's actually going to push down much further because of that quarter theory. It was struggling on the longer ones, wasn't it? Let's look on the 30-minute. 30-minute, it's above. It's coming above. SAR's a flip back above. I don't think it likes that quarter theory. That's at 1.33500. That'll be 1.33500. GBP USD 1.3500, but I don't want to predict the market, but from all that massive spike up, we do know that over the longer time frames, the bankers have got to balance it out again. So it's a longer term sell, isn't it? Looking at the gaps on the banker strategy, but I don't know enough about that yet to analyse it, and this session isn't about longer term trades like that. So I'm a bit nervous about this one. Here, back on the 5 minute, it's bottomed out. We've had the flat bottom candles, not a lot of volume. It's at the quarter theory point. And just back to the 15 minute before we finish on that. The 15 minute is the best one, and on that you can get 15 minutes, you can get 5 to 10 pips, but it's straddling that quarter theory on the 15 minute. You have got the star flip, you have got the flat bottom candle. I'm not getting in it because I'm just so sort of like attuned to pitchforks, and that's only, oh well you have got 18 pips there, and we're not in the last 10 minutes of the hour, but it's not really my kind of trade, I don't think, because all those lines going on. I don't really want to risk that, but we'll what we'll do is I'll move that down to the pitchfork. So if I hear the trend line, if I hear the alert go off, then I know it has done that 10 pips, because it's always good. Or we could take it on demo. Why don't I take it on demo? I don't mind taking it on demo. It's all good practice this time of year for reading charts. So I think I'll pop it on demo, just, because I like Paul said, this is the time of year to do a lot of learning. So if it's GBP, I would normally put a 15 pip. You are covered on quarter theory, and target here is, let's call it 15, so that will be 1 to 1. I usually do 1 to 2, as you know. Let me, settings, stop level, profit level, 100, stop level 15, sorry, 150. That's 15 pips on it. It might not do that. Why don't we go, you see, why don't we go 1 to 1 on 10 pips? So try that as it's there. I'm going to do demo. Profit level. So by all means, do your own analysis or chip in. So price at the moment is 1.3367. Let me go to my JFEX, GBP USD, new order. I'll leave it at 0.05. I just tend to do my demo on that. And I'll put my stop loss in at, I'll do that in a minute. Sell. Let's see what the price is coming at. 1.33452. So I'm only doing a smaller stop loss than sorry about the drilling. 1.33552. Just doing 10 pips, and I'll set the take profit 1.33352. So that's just 10 pips either way. And just drag that onto the screen there, and it's plus 1.5 or plus 1. Anyway, we'll leave that one. Leave that with you. Not one I'm confident about enough to do on a live account. Right, GBP. So I'll just put demo against that 1 to 1. GBP NZD 15 minute. Just let me look at it from the Harmonic Scanner point of view. We had a D point here on the 12th. This is the 400 pip spike on the election. 1, 2, 3, 4. I had 227 pips off that on the way up and 20 on the way down. I was actually sat in my armchair, and I'd set it as a take profit because Les and I had analysed it on his session. So that's why the chart wasn't marked up. But I should have not been lazy, come back in and actually come in on it at the same time. But I didn't come until later, and then I got something on the way down. So on the 15 minutes, so what you've got at the moment is, we know the balance of the bankers will want to balance out that imbalance. That's a more advanced strategy which we're learning. I certainly be on the session. I think it's Manicure Nonis tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday. I want to go on at 3 p.m. my time. So I want to learn some more of that. I've been looking at 1 or 2 videos. So on the 15-minute, I had an alert set there. It has come right down already, just since to 1:30, 12:30. It's now sandwiched between a quarter theory and the pitchfork. It's in a price trap, so that always makes me extremely nervous. I never like to get back into a trade until after it's gone down past about 2.01800. So GBP and ZD, which in normal times is a very fast moving pair. I think it's a 10, 2.01800 I'm going to look at. I will put the BYOB on in a minute. Just let me get my bearings on the scanner. So you can see it crossed the 62, crossed the 15-minute one at 10 this morning. And it's still in a downward trend. It's now below quarter theory, which is a good sign. But my next line of caution, I'm probably too late for this trade, because on my, that's open of London was the time to get in as it came down below the pitchfork and quarter theory to be safe. So around about here, 9:30 UK time, I would have got in, which would have been, if you'd ridden it out through that there, it's now 70 pips. That's a very nice move, but I said it's a fast pair, so you might not have stomached to that retrace up to above the 62 and then above again before another drop at the open of 2 o'clock open of New York. So it's probably now going to carry on down to that pitchfork, and then we'll move over to BYOB, which is that's 20 pips we've got there. So let's, it's still in a downward trend below quarter theory. It's crossed another old pitchfork there. It's crossed this quarter theory, and there's more movement if it crosses that to come down to that next quarter theory. Normally price will move between these 50 pip bands. I don't use them on their own as a single confirmation, but I've got the cross of the 62, that's one, and I've got a, I haven't got a break and a retest of, I haven't got it, that's interesting. I've got a pitchfork touch, but not really a current break and retest of the pitchfork. I did have one here. It rejected off that. Let's put the MTFA on. This is an exit strategy. I don't use it for entry, but I just want to see what it's showing us on the 15-minute. It will show you whether price is generally, just give it a moment to load. This is 15-minute bands in the background, so that says it has moved to more of a downward trend. If you put it on the hourly, I suspect it'll all be red. Yeah, so it's been red since 10 o'clock your time, the UK time. So over the hourly, it's still in a downward trend. Let me just put it back and then turn it off. I usually leave it on the 15-minute because I usually just work on a 10-pip stop loss. I'll just hide that. So now let's put on our BYOB and take it to the 15-minute. And we move that up so we can see it there. So we've got, let me get the candles on, and the SARS. I mean, this is a really great strategy, the BYOB. It's so quick and so simple, and works across all time frames very effectively. So on the 15-minute, we're now in the middle, so that is neither below 20 nor above 80. So the volume on the trading has narrowed, and let's just magnify that. We've got flat bottom candles and we've got a SAR flip. which we like. So we have got a trade there. It's funny when you switch strategies. I know it's synergistic, but I'm so used to doing my strategy. I can see it's just prices. You know, I find it a bit more. You know, I'm still building my confidence to do live trades on BYOB because I'm just so used to the way my little system. I've just come out to the hourly, and we've got very wicky candles. We've still got a SAR flip, but I don't like the look of the candles on the hourly, and it's bottomed out. So it's not, and if you see here, interestingly, the 62 did not actually cross the 15-minute, it's above it. So the last time it crossed was right back here on the 5th of December. So here, the 62 is still saying it's in an upward trend. But as we know, the bankers will have to balance out this imbalance on this massive spike from the election. So they will be, and my scan was up, but the election has skewed that. I've looked this morning, there aren't any newer scans. But we do know that the bankers will want to gather up these, this money and come down. But at the moment on the hourly, looking at BYOB, it's very wicky. It wants to come up and we'd be waiting for a SAR flip upwards. So 4 hourly on the BYOB. Let me close off quarter theory because it's probably a bit too much for us to look at. Shows that all the way from the D point, it's gone up. It's going towards the 80, above the 80 on the stochastic, on the 4 hourly, but we've got wicked out. We have not got flat bottom candles here, so it's not a 4 hourly trade either. And back to the 15-minute. On the 15-minute, it's coming down. It's still coming down on the SAR flip, but very small volume on the candles. So that looks to me like it's just kind of chuntering along at the moment. So as I say, the 62 hasn't actually crossed. Oh, that does show a cross there though on the 13th of December on the 15-minute. So it wants to push upwards in line with the scan, even though we had that big spike. So no trade for me on the BYOB, and I just think I'm gonna leave that alert on my pitchfork there and see what it if it's going to come back up. So that's all I've got on GN. Euro GBP. We are out of London session, as you know. It's the crossover. Normally we'd be looking at our hot pairs, which would be USD and CAD. But as I say, I've marked up some for us to go through. So I'm just going to run through those. So I put the alert here because it had come to the outside of my scan. If I just show you where I was on the hourly, you can see, in fact, I wonder whether I had the extensions on that. No, let me just put the extensions on. So it's still in the scan, it's a downward scan. It has hit the median, so that's fair game for a buy or a sell. This is on the hourly that I'm looking at, and it's broken and it went right down there. But it's quarter theory. It's at quarter theory on the hourly. So before I put the BYOB on, I'll take that off. Don't need that at the moment. So I was looking at this because I thought it was probably heading down, but it's decided it's going back up, and it's now breaking and retesting quarter theory on the 15-minute. So I think it's probably wants to, I don't know, but you know, I'm not predicting, I'm not trying to predict, but it probably will come down off that if it doesn't, if it's struggling at quarter theory, it's done a break and a retest. and it's just retesting the 62 EMA on the hourly. It tested it there and it's testing it here and still underneath it. And now it's breaking and retesting quarter theory. So I think it's broken and retested that pitchfork there and here. At this, I'm on the hourly. I'll just come to the 15-minute and measure how much it broke and retested this pitchfork, because I wait for a break of 10 pips to make sure it's solidified. And that is a lot of pips. That was about 40 pips. So this is probably slippage. It's trying to get up to the quarter theory. It doesn't like it. It's rejecting off it, although it has on the 15-minute come above the 62 and above the pitchfork. So at the moment, it's in a bit of a price trap, deciding what it wants to do. On the 15-minute, let's go to BYOB. Let me just have a look at the pivots, which is lazy man's highs and lows. So what does that tell us in the market? We have got lower lows, but we've got a higher high forming. So is the market turning and saying it wants to come up and retest this line here at about 83,700? That's Euro GBP. So I'll be looking at 83,700 on a retrace. So let's have a look at what the stochastic tells us on that. Still coming up. So it could be that that's what it wants to do. I just want to see where the 100 is. Let's get, there it is. So we've got it coming above the 80. So that's probably going to, and when I say probably, I really don't like predicting the market. It's not what I do, but there's about 10 or 13 pips. But it's at quarter theory. So it could stay here and then reject. That'll be, so I'm just going to make a note. Quarter theory is at 0.83500. So is it rejecting off that? Because we have got the lower lows forming. I haven't got a trend line, a 1-minute trend line that I can see. It's kind of, is it reversing? And it looks like, oh, let me put the SARS on. And let's put our Heikin-Ashi on. So we did have we've had a SAR flip back up. We haven't got very big volume candles on the 15-minute. Our lines are not close together. So I'd keep an eye on this for it going above 80, maybe even up to that first price that I gave you, or is it now turning and rejecting off quarter theory? So the volume will have decreased, and then it's got to get below this pitchfork before it comes down here. So what you're looking for is any lower lows and for it to reject off that. But we are now outside of London session, so I don't know if Euro GBP will make any more moves today. So I think what I'll do is I'll just move I'll just keep that route. I know it's not, can't really do it like that. I'll just see if it pops back down. I'll put it about there. And I'll have to do that on the 1-minute, see if it's still, I'll put it about there. I know you can put alerts on here, and Kevin Orm has set up a very nice alert system for us. And let's just look at the hourly. We've got downward SARS, wiki candles, no flat bottom candles, and it's not above 80. And on the 4-hourly wiki candles, it's at the bottom, and the SARS are still on top. So it's saying on the 4-hourly it still wants to push down, but wiki candles, so no trade on BYOB on the time frames that I can see. GBP ORD, there was one sniper has called an ORD NZD trade this morning, Les told me. If I can't put it on, I've got a weird problem with my trading view at the moment. I'm stuck with these pairs and I can't even pull up my drop down, which is why I've had to message support. But order NZD you might want to look at. Right, so I've got a problem as well with GBP order, because as you can see, I'm in the middle of both my sets of pitchforks. I'll put BYOB on. So I've just set an alert up at the next, where I had a scan. So let's just have a look at BYOB on the 15-minute. And this obviously isn't one I trade very much because I've changed all my candles to the colours I like and haven't done it on this one. Just give me 30 seconds to switch them over. So everything, always good to have everything consistent, and you don't have to think about them too much. So on the, let's put the oh, this obviously isn't one I trade very much. Indicators, we all have our favourites, and the SARS, that's on. So we've got, I'm on the 15-minute. I just need to get those set up so you can see them. There. And normally I fade that out a bit. Oh. Right, okay. So on GBP ORD, we've got the SAR flip, but it's right at the bottom there, so there's no trade because we're saying we want it to, and it's in very low volume range. The 62 is still saying it wants to go up. I tended to put my alert there. We'll go up to the hourly. Hourly says it's coming down below the 20, but it's still got some room to go, but you can see it's rejecting, well, it's testing the 62, it's kissing the 62. The SAR flip had, but we've got very low volume on the trading, and the SARs are at the top, so it still wants to push down according to that. And go back to the 15-minute. You've not got, you've got the lines apart, it's in the middle, the sellers are on top, but you've got, I'll just put this on magnification for you. You have got the flat bottom candles on the 15-minute, but not a lot of volume in the trading, and it's already reached the bottom. Go to the 30-minute, which, as I say, I never usually trade off that, and it's bouncing along the bottom. It's got a flat bottom candle, and it's got a bit more volume on it. And on the 30-minute SAR flip, no flat bottom candle, and it's bouncing along the bottom. No trade there. On the 4-hourly, we have a flat bottom candle, but we've got the SARs at the bottom, and we've got it just coming above the 80. So we'd be looking for a flip on the 4-hourly down. But as I say, I'm right. I've got no other radar for me because I'm right in the middle of the sea between scans, and I thought it had a tendency for up because of the 62 EMA. So I think that's, I'll just put the pivots. I'll go back to 15. I'll finish off on this one by just putting the pivots on. Lazy man's high and lows. Let's see what the market trend is telling us. And the market trend is saying that 645706. Equal lows really at the moment, no new low formed, and we've got higher highs forming, so that also is telling me that it is, that's EuroCAD going off. Could have a look at that. It is veering towards the upper trend, but I don't know, there's no trade, so let's have a look at EuroCAD, see why that's beeping at us. That's over here. EuroCAD has indeed gone up. This is on my 1 minute. So I had it marked there. I can't remember why now, because I was looking to see if it was going to break and go up, or is it going to reject and come back down. Let me put the pivots on. Pivots are showing a downward trend. I've had a break and a retest. I've had some slippage off that pitchfork. It's come up to this next pitchfork, so I've got a bigger break and retest over a longer time frame to see if it's going to come back down. So if it's going to break and retest this pitchfork, where's quarter theory gone? Quarter theory's up there. But what I've got here is this is on the 1 minute. I've got a crossing of the, I can't see my lines. Where are we on the hourly? Just looking at the 62 EMA. Oh, okay. So I had this crossing back into an older scan. So generally, I was seeing if it was going to reject off that extension, because normally with the extensions, it'll pull price back into that scan. So for me, I was thinking of this for a sell. That's on the hourly. Let me go to the 15-minute and I'll put BYOB on. So for me, yeah, this is definitely a sell. I've got the 62 crossed below the 15-minute. I've got it coming back into the extensions, coming now, rejecting 1, 2, 3 times off the outer extension. Let me take these alerts off to clean it up a bit, and then we'll put the BYOB on. And I want to look at the measurement. She wouldn't pop up with that, can't see what I'm doing. I want to see if it's more than 10 pips on the break. Well, it was 15 down to there. So that to me said it's solidifying on a downward trend. We've still got the 62. So it's testing this pitchfork. So what I'm waiting for now is I need a 1 minute trend line. If I show you down here, I know we're not trading. Have I got it on here? This one. This is my checklist that I use. Mark Simmons developed the entries and I developed the exits, and then he tidied it up. So week commencing, I know we've got Debbie Day, one of my team members, has done a checklist for BYOB for everybody. So always make sure you're using your checklist. What is your pair? You know, what are your confirmations? For me, I need a pitchfork touch and then any 2 of these. So you can see 1 minute trend break and retest when I get into a trade. And then, sorry, this has just got my entries. I haven't got the exits one. I've got an entries and exits one, but I won't waste time looking at that now. I'll bring it up next time. I've got a new one which has the exits on as well. But that's what we use for every single trade. So the fact, if I draw you on the 1 minute, my trend line, does it show me, this is on an upward trend line, does it show me that it's going to break that? If it breaks that, then I know it's going to come down the other way. That's another old pitchfork there. It's got 2 pitchforks there. Sorry about the drill. Luckily, we're coming up to the end of time, so I'm just going to finish on this one. Oh, because that's the other thing. You often get a fake out the last 10 minutes of the hour. So I'm definitely looking at EuroCAD for a sell. I didn't know he's coming today. He's meant to be coming Wednesday, by the way, and he suddenly appeared. The wife had let him out for the day. She's gone off walking. So he was able to come to me. So I want to go back to the 50 minutes and we'll put BYOB on because I know you like trading.
Sarah, you didn't spot the one I put through earlier on?
What's that? No.
In the messenger.
Oh, sorry, I missed it. What's that say?
It's gone past. I was just going to say it was GJ.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I did
it's
get
moved,
into it.
it.
I did
well
message
done.
you.
Oh,
You were talking a lot, so I thought I won't interrupt your chit chat.
Yeah, well, what I'm going to do once I've moved the desk is I'll set my other screen up and then I can monitor both things. I have got my phone here. Sorry, I was just.
No, don't worry about it. I just thought I'd
no,
put
that
it
was
in
kind of you.
anyway.
Yeah, I would have most certainly. It was on my list up here. I'm a bit flummoxed today because I've lost my window up here. Les tried.
Oh.
He looked as well, and I've had to send a support ticket, so I can't close anything down and I can't save current setups. Fortunately, I had them all, but it's very strange. I can't get my drop down. I wanted to add another pair, and I
What's
couldn't.
that with TradingView?
Yeah, it's all gone blank, which normally is my drop down for my historic scans, and my symbol pairs is completely blank. And if I close it all down, all it will do is say your latest things won't be saved, and then I'll lose a couple of scans. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It will get sorted.
Yeah.
She said, hopefully. Right, let's put the SARS on. I'm on the 15-minute. I'm just going to finish off with this because we're at the end of the hour.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
also I want to avoid a lot of noise on the drilling. It's a bit embarrassing.
Yeah.
I need to put on the stochastic and just let's get the thickness up.
I've got my own quite a few, but none of the subs have flipped yet.
Right, okay.
So, yeah.
Yes, I haven't found confluence.
I'm looking at the hour, by the way, not the 15.
No, I know. Well, I like to do the hour because of your longer term, and then Les in the evening tends to do hourly, and 15 minutes.
I think it's smoother, much smoother.
Yeah, well, 15 minutes suits me because I am just a little scalper, as you know. So,
yeah.
So settings on candles. Let me just change this.
Yeah.
I'll have a look at GBP, JPY as well. Right, 15 minute. We've got it still wanting to come up. We've got have got a bit more volume on the candle. We've got the SAR flip has just come up, showing it's on a retrace. I'm expecting this to come down. That's what I'm watching it for. But as Tony says, there's nothing flipping the way we want it at the moment. On the hourly, you've got a flat bottom, I see. And the 4 hourly, that was a Fibonacci. Get rid of that. I haven't obviously been on this pair for a while. I've got quite a few old markings.
Euro CAD.
I like EuroCAD. I don't know why I've been on it for a while.
Well, everybody has their own pairs that they get used to and they like the rhythm of.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so on the 4 hourly, it's below the 20. We've got a flat bottom candle. I can't even say the SARs are up there.
Yeah.
It still says it's pressing down, therefore, but maybe it's bottoming out for a flip then, because it's coming below 20. The lines are wider apart.
Yeah,
on the 4 hourly. Yeah, it's
going into a bit of consolidation a little bit there.
Okay, so we're looking for a SAR.
And the red and the blue line below the sarcastic are actually turning, so.
Oh, okay, so that's coming up for a buy. Okay, so that's worth keeping an eye on for a buy. Les will be on at 7, but you've got low volume there on the 1 hour, although it's bottoms out below 20. No SAR flip, and I'm going to sneeze now. That's builder's dust, I think. And it's halfway up on the there's nothing. Consolidation and lower volume on the pit range. So I just want to finish off by looking at what was happening on our demo account and also GBP JPY, which Tony has been in. 15-minute candles, Ikanashi, stochastic, and SARS. Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I put the signal out the last lot of sale, not the one you're in now, but the last lot of sale.
Yes. Oh, London, when London opened.
No, it was literally about 10 past, because you started 10 past 1, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was about quarter past, something like that.
What, you did it for a sell up there?
Yeah, it's actually in the text message side of it.
Oh, well
Should be.
done. I'll have a
I
look
put
at
it
that.
in there. I think it's still there.
Oh,
Yeah.
so I've been, no, that was GBP USD. So
Oh, GB,
I've been taken out on that, haven't I? In my
GJ,
demo.
I've got
Oh
there,
no, I've won.
GJ.
That's one. That's one. That hit take profit, GBP USD.
Oh, right. Now I'm looking at GJ.
I know, but I'm just finishing off by looking at yours and looking at mine.
Yeah.
I took it on demo. I should have more faith, shouldn't I? Because that's just one. 10 pips.
It happens all the way. Sometimes I use a demo and when you've got that gut feeling, will it or won't it? If you're not sure, don't do it. You put it on demo and it goes 10, 20 pips.
Yeah.
And you think,
Yeah, it's because you don't have any emotions attached to it. So you just do the whole subconscious trading bit and it works.
The thing is, I think you can get so analytical that because it doesn't tick absolutely every box, you pass on or you go into demo, which is really, it's practice, but you're not actually earning any money out of it.
Exactly. So today I've been also using my phone to practice more on trading on my phone and closing out half-size lots because I want to do more of that stacking in the spring. So I've been doing that just to get used to it, and that's how we trade news. So you got in at what time?
Oh, hang on a minute. I'll soon tell you. Because on this trade thing, it tells me what time. GJ, I got in at 2:30.
That's 2:30.
Yep, I got it here.
What, my time or your
entry.
time? Huh?
Date's right. From the looks of it. Yeah, I'm just looking at my graph.
Oh yeah, I see.
2:34. 2:34. So yeah, all the 5 was set up. The 1 hour set up, and I thought just go for it. So I did.
So are you still in it?
No. I got out. I get my pips.
Yeah,
And get
because
out.
it's consolidating back out now along that quarter theory.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I just grabbed the pips, and as long as I've made a bit of profit, I'm happy.
Yeah, that's a good one, isn't it? So you had, let me have a look. That's on the 15. What time frame were you on?
I was on the 15.
That's had 40 pips in it. Oh, brilliant.
Well, I got in just on the other side where you see the last downward trend.
I must pay more attention to the chat then because that was really good. I would have
halfway down, you can see that there was a reversal, a buy.
Yeah.
With a blue candle. That's along. If you go further along with your, so I've got my cursor on here at the moment, on the last sale, on the last downward trend.
Yeah.
Because at the moment you're on a downward trend now, then you go back a bit and you've got to buy, and then you go on to the last, on that one, halfway down there, that's when I got in. Because I just waited for, the right setup, and it did. It went back a little bit and then came straight down. So, yeah, perhaps I was a bit lucky on that one.
What? So you got in, it retraced and then came down. So what basis did you get in on that one then for a sell?
For the sell on the 15.
Oh, because it had the longer time frame was showing.
No, I was trading on the 15. It just, the starboard flipped. Well, I was waiting for the starboard to flip. It was a flat bottom as well. And it was going in the same direction for the 5 minute. I don't look at the SARBs or the sarcastics on the time frames either side. I just look at, make sure the candle's going in the same direction.
Oh, okay.
And it's all important on the time I'm trading on, which is the 15. Obviously, everything's got to line up. And once that's okay, then I look at the 5 minute to make sure the candle's going in the same direction. And sometimes I look at the 1 minute like you do, just for precision to make sure it's still going in the same direction.
Right.
Sometimes obviously it retraces, it goes back, and then I'll wait for it to come back again, and then I get in it when it comes back in about 2 candles, and then that's it. We'll just sit back and wait. But the trend's got a long-term trend for an hour. I normally look at to make sure it's going in that way, and it was. There was very little wick either side, so I thought, well, yeah, it looks good enough.
Yeah, that was a nice one. Okay, well, as the builder seems to, he'll probably stop now, as he seems to be.
And you want to
beavering
catch
away.
up with what he's up to, I suppose.
Oh no, he's fine. We've worked together about 3 years now.
Oh, okay,
I'm
that's
very good friends with his wife, so he's a little gem. He can do a bit of everything. He's fantastic.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he's lovely. Okay, then I'm going to.
Yeah, I think some
thank
people
you.
might want to go on to Sharon's trading
Thank you
thing.
very much for joining.
No problem.
Yeah, great session. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Sorry about the builder's noise, and we'll try and get something live next time rather than me dithering around on demo. Yeah. But it's because I'm still managing the mashup. Okay, everyone.
Yeah,
thanks for
Yeah,
joining.
you did brilliantly.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh,
well
thank
done, Sarah.
you. Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
See you,
Bye.
Sarah.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.